Yeah, so some of the things that I talked about was how do you begin to have the right capability in terms of sensing where consumer trends are going and where innovation is coming from. And so if you look, what's been interesting about the tech world more than anything is they've been able to sense the next huge ideas called unicorns, as they call them, right? And unicorns make up $1.3 trillion, the top 50. And so something in the tech world has been able to do that. But even more interesting is that the large technology organizations, the Googles of the world, the Amazons of the world, the Apples of the world, have been able to sense consumer change, but also then turn that into faster growing billion-dollar businesses than even startups can. So there's some model there where if you take a scaled organization and you teach it how to sense where the future's going, you can create faster growing billion-dollar businesses in what I've been talking about as the next wave of dragons. And so the reason why I took on e-commerce was how do we build a fast-growing billion-dollar business on the back of a scaled organization, and how do we begin to sense where the future of that consumer buying behavior is actually going, whether it's total new product creation for those channels, or whether it's direct-to-consumer customizable experiences. Like, how do we begin to think about that? And I showed color-filled as an example of us seeing a trend, taking what we had learned around the transformation of Oreo and turning it into the first ever customized product that we have shipped on Oreo in 103 years direct to consumer, and then turning around and launching that again in China and continuing to build kind of a brand platform for that growth. So one of the other interesting things that I talked about today, and I just wrote a book about messaging, and it's called Text Me, 646-201-8270. And what I talked about is how messaging is exploding, but yet as an industry, we're not even really talking about it. What does the world look like in a world where, what does creativity look like in a world where you can only send somebody a message? And when you look, in 2011, there was only one messaging app in the top 10 downloaded apps in the world. Now, in 2016, 7 of the top 10 downloaded apps in the world are messaging apps. 4 billion consumers are there. 1 in 5 minutes is spent in Facebook feed, but 4 to 5 minutes are pretty much spent in messaging. All the relationships you care about, all the connectivity you care about is in messaging. There's no way there's a world where brands are not going to communicate direct to consumers through messaging. But right now, there's no ecosystem, no infrastructure, no thinking. Everything that was built around social will be rebuilt around messaging. So if you begin to step back and think about this, there's about to be an explosion on a scale that we've probably really never seen before. But at the same time, we don't know what that relationship should look like. So this is the most personal place where you communicate with your mom, your kid. And so here you are communicating with your kid, and maybe they're not responding, and you're worried, oh, is there something wrong? And then all of a sudden, a brand comes in and says, hey, want to buy me 4 Ys, 3 exclamation marks. You're like, no, dude, I want to see if my kid's okay. And so understanding, and I've been talking about his personal relationship management. Actually, Ryan Leslie, who created a platform called Superphone, kind of coined that term. Another platform I would suggest our viewers look at is Pipestream and what they're doing. So that world will come about. And what's also interesting is that it reduces the friction of actual purchase. So the only bill that anybody pays in the world consistently is their phone bill. And the ability to tell a person, you know what, just text back yes and I'll automatically deduct, like, that's huge. So that frictionless buying. So I think we haven't really thought about what the world of communication is going to look like as messaging, as we have to move into the messaging world. And so, again, even as an industry, we don't have that sensing mechanism. So how do brands and organizations build that sensing mechanism to truly understand where consumers are going, because they move so quick now?